On the roll, puts the head down, dives for the sticks. He'll be about a yard shy as Steve McMichael, the veteran, pinned him there.
One thing you'll notice, the footing out there, they've had the field covered. So it's a little bit damp, a little bit wet. You'll notice both the pressure that comes from the outside by Armstrong and Boomer not being able to really plant and come around the corner. Play action fake will go to the right of the screen. He's the best at it. There, watch the footing. See everybody sort of feeling their way around the corner. Can't plant, runs into his own guy.
On 3rd and a yard. Another great fake and Esiason downfield. Great catch at the 20-yard line. Craig Thompson, the 5th-round draft choice, a 31-yard grab. And Esiason suckered everybody.
He's a master. Right now, the best faking quarterback in the National Football League. Craig Thompson only with his 4th catch. See how he stays down and hides the ball. For anybody who's young and watching, that's what you have to do. Really, really sell the fake. And he does a great job of... Now, even though the tight end's covered, watch where he throws it. Throws it away from where the defensive back is trying to cover him, Mark Carrier.
That is only the 4th catch of the year for the rookie out of North Carolina A&T. Ball and Green with the running back. Big play for the Bengals. Boomer dumps it to Green at the 15. Singletary wrapped him up, had some help as he got down near the 11-yard line.
There's Coach Shula. Young Coach Shula, I should say. Offensively, he wants to convert the 3rd downs. That was one of the big keys that he talked about. He's managed to do it in big style on the first one, and also protect his quarterback. And the best protection you have, Mike, is off of play-action passing.
2nd and 3. Run the delay to Green. Got excellent speed. Cuts it back inside the 10. Needed to get just to the 8-yard line, and he's very close. Trace Armstrong and Sean Gale coming up from the safety spot to make the tackle. Singletary was also in there. And this is what Bear fans, I think, are more upset about than anything. Their very proud defense has been taking it on the chin.
And that's what I was talking about earlier when I talked about identity. When you thought of the Chicago Bears, the one thing that jumped out, obviously when Walter Payton here, he was one thing, but it was always that defense that just suffocated you. You couldn't gain a yard. You were always throwing on 3rd and long or 2nd and long.
1st and goal for the Bengals, their opening possession. 3 wide receivers set. Esiason to Ball in the flat, and he dropped it. The fullback, Eric Ball, who only had 3 catches coming into the ball game, the safety valve.
Tough catch, though. I mean, he's looking over his right shoulder. Ball winds up coming on the other side of him. He has to do a little spinner move to try and make the catch. And Wisconsin trying to concentrate on keeping his feet in bounds. Didn't even get either one.
The Bears have given up 193 points this year, and you see the Bengals in their goal-to-go situation tied for 1st in the NFL. 2nd and goal here. Green. Second effort got him near the 2-yard line. William Perry hit him first, and he dragged 320-pound William Perry down to the 2-yard line.
I want you to see something here, Mike. Look at what a play-faking quarterback can do for your offense. Watch what happens. Boomer now carries out the fake, just like he's got the ball, and he will occupy a defensive player. See back there? Armstrong thinks he's got the ball. So now instead of 11 guys pursuing at the ball carrier, there's only 10. And your guy might be able to break the tackle and make a touchdown because of it.
3rd and goal, and Chris Zorich wants the crowd help. Green. Excuse me, Fenner. And it's a touchdown, Bengals. An impressive opening drive for the Cincinnati offense.
An impressive bit of play calling by Coach Shula. Mixing it up, both pass and run. Took a big chance on 3rd down. This is just man-on-man down around the goal line. The line reaches big left. The Bears slide with it. But because of the good job on the backside, cutting off the pursuit, he's got a lane to get in the end zone.
Jim Breach down for the point after. out of the hold of Lee Johnson, and Cincinnati has taken a 7-0 lead with 7:23 to go in the first period from Soldier Field. And here is the touchdown from former Seahawk Derek Fenner.
The Prudential. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get, guaranteed, at McDonald's today.
The Bengals strike on their first possession, lead at 7-0. Lee Johnson set to kick off, and the Bengals have been outstanding at kickoff coverage this year, 4th in the NFL. Deep to receive, Gentry 29 and Lewis 33. Lewis from the 8. Gordon knocks him down as he reached the 27-yard line. A return of 18. We have a timeout, 7:13 to go, first period of play, Soldier Field, Chicago. First quarter from Soldier Field, a very impressive opening drive for the Cincinnati Bengals. First time they got the ball, 59 yards in 8 plays for the touchdown.
Great play action fake by Boomer, but look at what happens with Craig Todd. Watch him sell the run first. He's going to sell the run like he's blocking on it. Okay, get into somebody. Get into somebody. Now release downfield. Mark Harrier can't cover 2 people. Excellent job adjusting to the ball.
And Derek Fenner, who was the man who was faked to, was nearly tackled 10 yards away from Boomer, and another player was following. An amazing fake. Anderson on the toss behind Mustard. Tripped as he got to the line of scrimmage, and reaching out the hand was Lamar Rogers, number 79.
The one thing Mike Ditka wanted to do was really get away from a little bit from the running game, just lining up and throw it. He wanted to become more of an unpredictable offense. Wanted to be able to run the ball with more unpredictability. He's going to have to get better blocking up front if he's going to be able to run the ball at all, whether it's predictable or not. And that's the key. The key is the Bengals are winning up front right now.
And just to illustrate that, Harbaugh came into today with more passing yards than any other quarterback in the National Conference. Mustard lost his footing as he got to the 30-yard line and was pinned by Gary Reasons, the former Giant. And some of the Boo Birds are out early.
Woke up real early, didn't they? Got down to this thing real quick. Brad Mustard, they can't run him a lot because of his back and his hamstring. So unfortunately, he's only going to carry the ball 10, 12 times in the game. Big guy like that, you'd hope could carry it 15, 18, 25 times and wear a defense down.
3rd and 7 for Chicago. Harbaugh to the shotgun. Four-man rush. Good protection. Harbaugh unloads, complete first down. Out at the 41-yard line, Tom Waddle makes the catch, and Waddle specializes in those first down catches.
Who else? Who else would you throw to on 3rd down? He's only converted 21 now out of 27. Goes in motion. Very difficult for the defensive back to jam him. Waits for the other guys to clear, then finds a soft spot. Comes back to the ball. Does a nice job of cradling over it. First down.
He leads the Bears in receiving yards. The guy's been cut by this club 4 times and said if he didn't make it this year, he was going to quit. He said he didn't want to hang around. So he's hanging around, but he's doing a great job. Fulcher showing blitz, and here he comes. Harbaugh unloads in time, free ball, and knocked away. Intended for Mustard. Fulcher sneaking up at the line of scrimmage and came hard. And when he comes at 240 pounds, you can find him in a hurry.
Ron Lynn said that the one thing that Dave Fulcher does, he does a number of things. The thing is you can bring him on a pass rush, and he's like rushing a linebacker. I mean, he comes in only at a meager 240 at the strong safety position. There's Coach Lynn right over there. That's Ron. Up here where it's warm. There are the coaches. Ron Lynn come over from the San Diego Chargers. Really is just learning what he has on the field, being able to utilize it.
And a highly respected defensive coordinator. 2nd and 10 now for Chicago. Cincinnati showing blitz again. They come again. Anderson on the running play will get up to about the 44-yard line.
The ball carrier.
In 1990, they were last in the league with 25 sacks, and that just indicates the amount of pressure they were not getting. Then only 21 in 91. And right now, they're tied for second in the NFL with 31. The lead is 33, and the way they're playing, they'll probably get that before the game is over.
They shut down that Bear running game and make Harbaugh throw. They sure will.
3rd and 7. Five-man rush. Harbaugh, first down, 40. Got a good block downfield from Dennis Gentry, too, to allow him to pick up another 8 to 10 yards. Ricky Dixon had to make the tackle, but Gentry was downfield occupying his man.
When you bring guys blitzing, and the footing isn't real secure, and I have to mention that, something to keep an eye on. Here they come. They bring 7 people up front. People slipping and sliding. They can't get around, but Jim Harbaugh knows where he wants to go. He's looking. Should I go out of bounds? No, these guys aren't very big. Let me go up the field.
Arzine and Bortz, the double team on the nose man, Tim Plumrod, who gets that every play of his career. Back to the ground. Anderson finally has a little running room. Keeps the legs moving to the 34. A flag is down. And it will go against the Bears. Now, what has happened so far this year with Cincinnati is they are the team that has been penalized so much and hurt themselves tonight. It's the Bears.
Mike wants to know what's going on.
Holding. 57 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Tom Thayer, the 8-year man out of Notre Dame, the right guard.
And you know what's really upsetting is when it happens on running plays. When I was a quarterback, that's what bothered me. You understand it on passing plays, but watch the right guard, number 57. See that right hand? He's got him hooked on the face mask. Well, if you're going to hold somebody, don't grab the face mask because they're looking that way, but he got the one hand on his back, the other on his face mask. He's not going to let you get away with it, Tom.
Lewis is into the backfield in place of Anderson. And Lewis will get the call on the delay. First through a hole, 40, 30, 15-yard line for Darren Lewis, the second-year man out of Texas A&M, a gain of 35.
I'm standing on the field before the game with Mike Dick, and I said, is Darren Lewis going to carry the ball much tonight? He says, we got one formation. We have a formation, and he'll carry it. And I believe we found the formation. And he's the guy that's back there. Excellent job on the draw. But what he does is he sets the blocks up very well. See how he dances? Nice job on the move. Sets up the block again for the wide receiver. Now he realizes he's in the hole. Put your head down and head for the goal line.
This guy's no surprise. He has 13 Southwest Conference rushing records to his credentials in college, and he can run. Anderson back in, gets the toss. Lost his footing, still got 5-6 yards, skidded forward to the 10. And it is a tough field here. When they went away from the AstroTurf, of course, the weather conditions in Chicago, not really conducive to keeping grass growing at this time of the year.
It's a little tough. Actually, it's not bad, but it's thin and it's slick. You got to think, geez, what was the thing we talked about? You know, the identity was the defense. Attitude was the offense. You're starting to see the Bears now go at it. This is Mike Ditka's attitude. This is saying, we're going to come after you. Bears getting that attitude now, running the football.
Spotted at the 10, 2nd and 5. Harbaugh, sacked by James Francis. Got there in a hurry, got a piece of the jersey, and dragged him down. 3rd sack of the year for Francis.
Remember the problem that Keith Van Horn had Monday night. Here it is, a tough. Now, he is not responsible for that, so Keith, I take that back. What happens is Tom Thayer is supposed to key the linebacker over him and then pick up the outside rusher. Very difficult to do if that inside guy fakes it all. Makes him a step late. You saw the result, the sack.
And Francis with good speed at 252 from that linebacker spot. Lost to 5 on the sack, 3rd and 10. Inside handoff to Lewis. Has blockers in front. Touchdown. has done so far, 3 carries, 49 yards, and a score.
All this is, look at the look of bewilderment. Like, how can you run a sweep like that? I don't believe it either. They're standing on the sidelines with that look of, what happened?
Kevin Butler for the point after. And the Bears, with an impressive drive of their own and some outstanding running from Darren Lewis, have tied the Bengals at 7. We've got a ball game at Soldier Field. 7 first period. The Bears and the Bengals from Soldier Field. Nice to have you back with us on ESPN.
Nice to be back.
Yes, it is. Kevin Butler will kick to Ball and Stiegel waiting at the 5. High, short kick. Comes down at the 21. Stiegel. Flag is down, so Stiegel at the 35-yard line. Pinned by Eric Wright. We'll check the penalty. And this will go against the Bengals. Cincinnati comes in the 3rd most penalized team in the NFL. Only Seattle and Indianapolis.
Holding number 56 receiving team during the return. 10 yards, first down.
And Cincinnati special teams, the most penalized in the league. Tied at 7. Talking about how much fun that last sweep was when there wasn't anybody out there. And an excellent drive for the Bears to tie up the ball game. 72 yards, 11 plays. And Darren Lewis was the big man in that drive.
And the key play in that drive, it happens to be the touchdown. But watch the block that Tom Waddle gets on Fulcher. Right in front of your screen, number 33. And then Bortz finds a body. Fair finds a body. That's the key on sweeps and screens. Find somebody to hit.
And Richard Dent, fired up by the touchdown, bores in and flattens the ball carrier. And you can just feel Mike Ditka saying, that's more like it.
He was slowed by Dent.
Dent gets his 5th sack. The Bears' all-time sack leader now with 108.5. So the Bears finish the first quarter on a high note. They have tied the Bengals at 7. To start the second quarter from Soldier Field in Chicago, the Bengals and the Bears tied at 7. You would have to think that both offensive coordinators would be very happy with the first quarter, the way their teams performed so far.
They really have. Not too many penalties for the Cincinnati Bengals. They're getting off the ball, staying out of 3rd and long, getting the 3rd and shorts, converting it with the big play. The Bears, on the other hand, we talked about the one thing that they really haven't done, and that was run the football consistently. They seem to be doing that now. On that drive, the big plays was Harbaugh's run, and of course Lewis's, both of them. So when it becomes a part of the running game and it gets back into the groove, then the coach can start getting his own rhythm as well as the players.
The Bengals here facing a 2nd and 15 after the sack by Dent. And there are the familiar eyes of Mike Singletary, who will skate into the Hall of Fame.
In his last year. Yeah, what? A Bear without Mike Singletary? Hard to imagine.
Yes, it is. And it will be a sad day when it comes, too. Harold Green, the single setback. Boomer on the roll, and he's sacked again, this time by Armstrong. There's the intensity you asked for.
Well, the Bengals said we want to move him so he doesn't get hit. Boy, now if you're Boomer, you're sitting scratching your head and say, I made a suggestion to the coach to move me to get away from this. Now I get hit out here. Number 93, Trace Armstrong. As well as Boomer moves, he takes on both blockers, and then they both turn him loose, figuring Boomer's going to be further outside. Now, was that Boomer's fault, or was it the Holman's fault for not pinning Armstrong?
Now it's 3rd and 23. They go on the delay to Ball. Nowhere to run as the Bears fly to the football. David Tate closed it down outside and then had a lot of company.
But Alonzo Spellman, his arms are so big that one arm stopped that. He just ran into one arm and then had to circle on out. Big Alonzo Spellman clogging up the middle. A pair of arms. Look at those things. Holy mackerel.
Tom Waddle waiting near midfield for the punt of Johnson. Has to come up. And we'll have it near the 42 as he was swarmed under. A punt of only 33 yards, a 2-yard return. I'm sure you'll already join us every Sunday for NFL Game Day, but if you're one of the few who don't, tune in, noon Eastern. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, Joe Theismann preview the day in the NFL. Then we'll be back at 7 o'clock. Chris and Tom Jackson back with NFL Primetime highlights and analysis of every game. And then at 8 o'clock, Joe and I will be at Mile High Stadium as the New York Giants take on Mr. 2-Minute himself, John Elway and the Denver Broncos.
You know, Mike, you've run the ball so well. Great opportunity possibly for a play-action take to try and go get it up top.
Not this time. Anderson will pound ahead inside the 40 to about the 39.
Sooner or later, it's got to come, because if you're running the ball that well, the defense is going to have to cheat the safeties closer and closer to the line of scrimmage for help. And all of a sudden, it's going to expose those corners. The Bengals have given up some big, big plays on passes.
And what bothers Ron Lynn is they've given up big plays playing a 2-deep zone, the one thing that's supposed to prevent the big plays. They've been killed by it.
There's the boomer. He's going to talk to the coaches upstairs and say, what do you think? The on-field coach is going to talk to the off-field coach. Joe Walter's trying to explain to Coach Schuler what happened on that last play.
Bears face a 2nd and 6. Harbaugh under pressure, and he's sacked back at the 47-yard line. Just pinned by Alfred Williams, who came in leading the team in sacks and tied for 4th in the conference.
I want to make a point here. The difference in watching Boomer Esiason and play action fake, and on this particular play, watch Jim Harbaugh play action fake. It's not always the quarterback that sells the play action. It's the running back. He's going back. It's going to be a little fake handoff like they just ran. But you see, he turns around, throws an open hand out there, and Alfred Williams says, geez, I know who has the ball. Watch this. The ball is never put away. It's never out of the view of the defensive man. He knows where to go.
So now 3rd and 13, and Harbaugh has to go to the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. Harbaugh with time, deep down the middle. Touchdown Bears! Anthony Morgan, 46 yards. Anthony Morgan has caught 3 passes this year, 2 for touchdowns. He's averaged 45 yards a catch. Butler for the point after. Knocks it through. Morgan hadn't caught a pass in 2 games. They only go to him when they need a 45-yard touchdown. 12:27 to go in the half. The Bears by 7. To the big pass play takes a 14-7 lead.
That's the shot from our goalpost cam. We've got them on both ends this year. There we go. Little pan.
Scoring drive didn't take long. 3 plays, 43 yards. Hit them on a big 3rd down. And the Bengals secondary has been toasted this year.
Both of those TDs have come on 3rd and long. 3rd and 10, the first one. 3rd and 13 on the other one.
Ball and Spiegel wait inside the 5 for Butler's kick. Eric Ball from the 2. And the Bears are pumped now. Douglas again, his 2nd special teams tackle.
Anthony Morgan, you see him isolated on Bennett. Now Bennett has nobody to help him in the middle. Gets his back turned. This is a no contest. If you're the quarterback, you hang that thing up like a punt, and you hope it comes down. Now there's the free safety, Darrell Williams. He's about 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. He's up covering a back. They've got a blitz on. No help in center field. There's nobody home but Morgan in the end zone.
Bengals from their own 16. Another good play fake by Esiason. Under pressure, got rid of the pickoff. Singletary. Singletary back to the 26-yard line. This guy worked so hard to get ready for his last year. The physical skills may be down, but the intensity is still there, and he gives you everything on every
You know,
play.
you just get excited watching him.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Boomer, he doesn't want to make him happy. There's Mike Singletary. He's not going to buy the fake. He's going to get back in the middle. Reads Boomer, does an excellent job looking around, find the receiver, find the ball. He's not supposed to be there, Boomer's thinking. He's supposed to be up on the line, tackling the running back that doesn't have it.
Big break for the Bears. Mustard nailed at the line. Got one step before he's drilled.
There they are, those famous eyes. Now watch him follow the eyes. Okay, he doesn't have the ball. Where'd he go? Find a receiver. Find a receiver. Okay, there's one coming. All right, now I got it. I got it. Oh, look out. Let me run into somebody. Let me run into somebody. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. I'm running for a touchdown.
Well, and it's not like he's had a lot of practice at it. That's his first interception since 1988.
Mr. Intensity.
Lewis, the single setback on the draw. Stopped this time as he got to the 21-yard line.
The ball carrier.
You know what's so impressive about Lewis, Mike, is he's doing a little shaking. He gets into the secondary, he does a little quick step, a little shaking, but he's moving forward. It's not like I'm standing still shaking. It's like I'm still coming at you. He's a big kid. I mean, you know, you're 225, 5'10", so he carries a little load when he's going through as well.
He was a little heavier last year and didn't get very much playing time. Lost some weight to get down to 225. He's been very impressive when he's had a chance. 3rd and 5. Neil Anderson is the setback behind Harbaugh in the gun. Tripped right. Harbaugh with time. Waddle made the catch at the 15-yard line. Looks like he has the first down. Swarmed under at that point. First man to hit him, Ricky Dixon.
You know, he reminds me, Tom Waddle, I watched him in practice this week. He reminds me so much of Art Monk. The intensity that he practices at, the sure-handedness, the absolute pride, and when the ball comes to me, I'm going to catch it. Unbelievable.
And he is a fearless receiver over the middle.
And, of course, you can't throw unless you've got protection. Mark Hortz on Tim Crumride. Troy Arzine doing a nice job keeping a good foundation on Alfred Williams. Good protection.
Anderson, nice cut. Got to the 12.
The Bengals can make the Bears settle for 3 here. It's got to be a moral victory. They'll get the ball back. They'll only be down 10. A couple of bad things have happened. Regroup a little bit. That's what you're thinking right now.
Coaches don't like moral victory.
I know.
He's 3 and 5 this year. He's going to have some more
Better
real
than
victory.
7 points.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron Lynn, far left of your screen. Figure out what to do.
Once Chicago gets into this area, they have been very effective. And Harbaugh sees something he didn't like. The play clock was down to 2, and Harbaugh knew he was not going to get the play off, so he used a timeout. Rather have a 2nd and 7 than 2nd and 12 down here trying to get the touchdown.
Not by the 71 play.
The all-new for 92 Toyota Camry. It's like a little Lexus, and it's at Toyota City in Mamaroneck now, with the options you want at the price you want to pay. So lease your 92 Camry LE today for only $199 a month. Come in and see why nobody beats Toyota City, Westchester's #1 Toyota dealer.
I love what you do for me, Toyota.
Meet Tony C., construction worker, weekend warrior.
Hey, what a grind. Straight 8, 7 to 3, 5 days a week. End of the week rolls around, I want to be ready. The weekend section of my local paper gets my mind right. Lets me know what's going on around town, the hot sports, and what's happening with my comics. They deliver it on my doorstep. Newspaper tube, they put it up for free. All for half off, I'll take a piece of that action.
Gannett Suburban Newspaper. Save 50% on 7-day home delivery. 1-800-942-1010.
Trying to sell your car? There's only one place to go.
Walter Payton on the Bears sideline. Who's he?
He's visiting with he's talking to defensive backs. He's been away from the game so long, he forgot which side of the bench the offense is sitting on.
Well, he wants to be an owner, so he knows that you got to start with defense. The Chicago Bears find themselves 2nd and 7 at the Cincinnati 12, already leading 14-7. After the Bengals took a 7-0 lead, but Chicago has dominated since that opening drive. Lewis. It's been effective every time he's touched the ball. Plunges forward to about the 8. Alonzo Mitz on the bottom of the pile, the right defensive end, picked up on waivers from San Francisco a year ago. And Lewis will come out. 24 years old yesterday, so he's having a little birthday party tonight at Soldier Field with 66,000 of his closest friends. The Bears on 3rd and short have been totally ineffective this year. Anderson. Diving. He's got to get just inside the 5, and that's where they're going to mark it. This will be very, very close.
If a play works, why not come back with it? So often coaches abandon a play. Remember the sweep he scored on for the first touchdown? Same play, same side, same people pulling.
And they'll bring in the change.
Coming at you. Here comes Bortz. Here comes Ozine. This time the Bengals do a good job of turning the play in, not allowing him to get around the corner.
Bears get a very fortunate spot on that ball. It looked like it was much closer to the middle of the yard line than it was across. And it is a first down by an inch.
I was going to say that. I thought I'd take a gimme for the first one of the year. Greg Landry, the offensive coordinator. Last year and a half, Mike Ditka has really let Greg Landry sort of change this offense a little bit from the let's run it down their throat style to a little more wide open style of offense. And, you know, evidence that you mentioned earlier, Mike, Jim Harbaugh, most yards passing in the NFC.
And Mike Ditka has been very complimentary of Greg Landry's job. Muster and Anderson are the backs on 1st and goal. Muster near the 2. Muster said the biggest adjustment he had to make when he came into pro football was not the transition from college to pros, was checking his ego at the sideline because he wasn't the main guy anymore.
A lot of guys have a tough time with that. A lot of guys come out dancing, and Michael Irvin with the Cowboys, when I talked to him, he said that same thing. He thought about it. And there he is. Could it be that this is the moment for William Perry to have another touchdown?
He's a svelte 320.
He is, and looks great.
Looks better than he has in 3 or 4 years, maybe. 2nd and goal. Anderson dives to the 1. Oh, this is smash mouth football. This is Chicago Bears style.
Yeah, but you got to get in. It only works when it's in. Offense, running the ball down here, I've said it, and I'll continue to say it, and as you listen to us doing, this is attitude. This is getting under somebody, but it's tough to run from an I formation down around the goal line because the defensive linemen and linebackers get a chance to penetrate and get to you, and you don't even get a chance to get airborne near the goal line.
The Bears, when their goal to go, nobody's better. 3rd and goal. Out of the split back, Mustard dives, didn't make it. stacked up right in the middle, and Gary Reason's number 52 stuck his head right across the middle of the line of scrimmage and stuffed it.
Gary Reasons is the biggest guy in that front seven. I was talking to Ron Lynn. He said, look at him. Watch number 52. Flies right in, makes the big hit.
Heck of a play.
I'll tell you, Big Gary doing that for his good friend Lawrence Taylor. He sends along his best. He understood the accident today. He said, be sure and tell LT I'm thinking of him.
Now you want attitude? Here's attitude. 4th and goal, they're going for it. Mark Green, number 31, checks into the backfield for the first time with Mustard. Green, hurdle, touchdown. The Bears just made a big statement.
They really did. And if you really look at these drives, other than the big pass play for the touchdown on 3rd down, it's simply been we're lining up. We're gonna do a few different things. We're gonna sweep a little bit, maybe not necessarily run at you. Here they try and squeeze the center. Green does a nice job of finding a little crease to get in the end zone for the touchdown.
Butler for the point after. And did you see Reasons? He wanted to do the same thing. Come over the top and stop him. But the Bears got excellent blocking in the end zone. Harbaugh and Ditka settle. Chicago Bears said they were embarrassed Monday night against Minnesota. They were whipped and whipped soundly on both sides of the ball. Different story tonight. They are doing the whipping.
They become more aggressive. You know, they've decided that, hey, we're going to have to go after our opponents.
Mike Ditka fulfilled his promise. He says, I'll tell you one thing, we'll come back from it. We'll be a better football team because of it. In the first half, they certainly have been. Ball. Douglas again. Maurice Douglas has made 3 sensational solo tackles on kickoff coverage. ESPN kicks off your college football Saturday each week at 11:30 in the morning. College Game Day. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, Craig James, all there to provide features and analysis of what's coming up that Saturday afternoon. Then at 7:30, CFA primetime matchup number 2 Alabama against number 16 Mississippi State from Starkville. Alabama with just a withering defense.
What he's trying to say is illegal block in the back against the kicking return team. First down penalty. I thought I'd translate that for you.
Didn't say it very well.
Well, I know he stumbled a little bit too, but I thought I'd translate that for everybody.
Thank you.
Careful, don't have too much fun.
Cincinnati started the first drive at their own 41. Since then, at their own 23, their own 17, now the 9. Boomer has to throw short, goes to Holman, his tight end. He's wrapped up as he crossed the 15. Singletary made the stop.
When you think of the Cincinnati offense, Dave Shula is the coordinator and head coach. Dana Bible handles the offense. He's the quarterback coach. Jim McNally handles the line, Bible in the passing game. I don't necessarily agree. I think a head coach has too many responsibilities to share the burden of offensive coordinator.
2nd and 7. Harold Green has been held in check very well tonight. Stacked up after a gain of maybe 2. Singletary again in there. 5 carries, only 9 yards for Harold Green.
Nobody studies harder. Nobody understands what an offense is going to do better than Mike Singletary. As soon as the ball is snapped, the defensive linemen occupy the offensive linemen, give Mike a chance to scrape off. He's been perennially a leading tackler. Big, big play for the Bengals. Don't want to turn the ball back over to the Bears with time for them to put another score up.
3rd and a yard. Esiason under pressure. Dent couldn't get him. And now Perry chases it. And Boomer has to go out of bounds at the 5. McMichael got the last shot in, but 3/4 of the Bears' defensive line made Esiason run for his life.
That is one frustrated football player. That is one guy who is relentless, too.
A loss of 13. 14.
Watch the right side of your screen. Richard Dent stands up. Now, sometimes he'll stand up, sometimes he'll get down. Just is really up to him. McMichael runs Boomer out after the fridge flushes him.
I think Boomer is going to come to the sideline and say, you know, it'd be a nice idea to block that guy, considering he's been an all-pro. Johnson, as they go for the block, didn't get it. Johnson goes down, no flag. Waddle will let it go, and the Bears came after Lee Johnson and forced him to punt it 28 yards.
Maurice Douglas again putting pressure on. He's been a special teams terror.
And that's Alonzo Spellman, who nearly got a piece, too.
Watch the left side of your screen. Snap aside. Now watch the left side. Here comes Douglas.
Oh.
Almost gets a hand on it. Coming right at you. Follow number 37 around the corner. Ball just does push him away from the angle for the block.
And Lee Johnson, who was nicked on the foot, went down like he was hit from a cannon. Lewis, the single setback, as the Bears have a chance to put Cincinnati away. Lewis. Speed to get to the outside, cuts it back, brought down. Nice play by Eric Thomas, who came up from the corner to force him in. There's another flag down. And another holding call. There have been at least 3 against Chicago.
On running plays. Like I said, that's the thing that gets you.
Gordon McCarter.
Holding. Number 95. Excuse me, number 85. Repeat first down. I'm translating tonight. Watch number 85, Keith Jennings. He gets on James Francis. Well, he says, hold it. Come here. Hold it. And the flag comes out.
So they'll spot it back at the Bengal 43, and it's first down but 20.
I'd let Gordon know his mic's not working.
Right, I like your interpretation.
I'm trying.
Harbaugh, good protection. Over the top came Rod Jones. No flag, and that looked like a heck of a defensive play.
I'm glad to see that one. Instantly, I was looking for a flag. I'm glad to see that they let him play. If he made the play, let's see. Certainly did a great job of getting that arm in front. Davis is coming in. Waddle's coming out. Look at him. Comes over the top.
Whoa.
Okay, so he ripped his head off on the way.
Hey, I'd say we were both wrong on that
I think so, yeah. I think the official was too, so we make it a threesome.
Yeah, he did get a piece of him, didn't he?
Yeah. Just a head.
Second and 20. Harbaugh with time again. Davis at the 30. This time Jones couldn't get to it. Jones saying it wasn't a catch, but it was.
That time Wendell Davis did an excellent job of getting himself between the defender and the ball.
66,000 people, a 75th straight sellout at Soldier Field, and the Budweiser storyline shows that Esiason has completed only 3 of 5 passes. Harbaugh has 91 yards. The Bears just dominating 163 to 43. Cincinnati with the 3 sacks. It just hasn't helped them that much. 2-minute warning, first half. The Bears 21, the Bengals 7. 3rd and 6. It's been a big down for the Bears tonight. Comes the blitz. Everybody coming in. Harbaugh unloads. Waddle can't get there. It was good coverage that time by Antoine Bennett, who was right with it.
But you got to give a lot of credit to the defensive line of the Cincinnati Bengals. They've put enough pressure on Harbaugh. If he has a little bit more time, he can make a more accurate throw, and that's another 6. Look at the pressure they put on. Good twist, a lot of movement up front. Force him to get rid of it. Ricardo McDonald finishing him off with the press.
And Harbaugh came off holding his right arm. Butler will try from 47 yards. It would be the second longest he's hit this year. Got plenty and just
hit the upright. hit the upright square. He was kicking them during warm-ups from 55 because the wind is at his back. As you watch this, behind the Bears, the wind is behind their back.
He got plenty of it. It would have been good from another 10 yards out, but watch the post. So the Bears' lead remains at 14-0. Boomer has only 3 first-half completions in this game. Wants the screen, goes to Ball. Morrissey floated up, and they'll knock him out of bounds at the 35-yard line. That screen took a long time to develop.
That's a good job by Ball, making something out of absolutely nothing. Dent's over there to make the play. He avoids the tackle, winds up with a 6-yard gain, but more importantly, saves the timeout and got out of bounds.
The Bengals' 2-minute drill, it hasn't been. They haven't scored. Dead last in the NFL. Bears come on the blitz. Boomer unloads. Has the completion out to the 44-yard line. That will be a first down. And the first time he's been able to hit a wide receiver is Tim McGee out of Tennessee. The 7-year veteran makes the grab. He's been frustrated this year by lack of opportunity to catch the football. Bengals will use a timeout with 1:34 to go in the first half. One thing that Mike Ditka said this week when we talked to him about the age of his defensive ball club and his entire ball club was that just putting young guys in there that can't play doesn't do me any good. Some of the guys like McMichael and Singletary are the older guys. They're the guys who are playing great.
And on the other side of the ball, you see Dave Shula talking to Boomer Esiason. They've gone through a modification on offense of going back and taking away that high-powered explosive offense and making it more of a ball control offense.
.134 to go first half. Bengals with a new set of downs from their own 45. Esiason with time nearly picked off. Intended for Jeff Query down at the 45, but Marcus Paul had it hit him right in the chest.
Personal observation, these receivers and this offense is not designed to go outside the numbers. The passing game that is designed is to go inside. You'll see that. That wasn't even close to being complete. I mean, Marcus Paul has got this thing wired if he's got any footing at all.
2nd and 10. Delay to Ball. Got it out to the 47, ran over Morrissey, who made the tackle. Clock running. Cincinnati just needs to get some of the momentum back that the Bears stole. Comes the corner blitz. Esiason unloads down the middle from McGee. He was covered like a blanket by Richard Fain. A lot of questions, Joe, about Esiason's arm strength. He looks like he can still throw the ball.
He can still throw it, and he's getting good protection from Kevin Sargent, number 77, against Richard Dent. Doing everything he can to keep an all-pro out. Now, remember, Kevin Sargent was all Big Sky Conference. Now, it's not quite all-pro, but it was all something. He's got his work cut out. I talked to him earlier today. He said, you know, it's tough filling Anthony Munoz's shoes. And he does feel a little bit of the pressure playing that left tackle position.
Out of Eastern Washington, there is Waddle, who is waiting on Lee Johnson's punt back at the 10. We have 1:06 to go in the half. Pretty punt, and Waddle with a fair catch all the way back to the 7-yard line. 45-yard punt, no return. If you joined us late tonight, Derek Fenner finished off an impressive Bengals drive as Cincinnati took a 7-0 lead here at Soldier Field. But after that, the Bears have come back. Lewis, a 15-yard run to make it 7-7. And then Morgan on the bomb from Harbaugh gives the Bears a 7-point lead. They made it 21-7 when Green went over the top as Cincinnati was trying a goal line stand, and that's where we stand. with 58 seconds to go in the half. What do you expect here, Joe?
I'd expect them to try and move the football. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a running play to get a little bit out from under the shadow of the goalpost.
And it is. Neil Anderson out to the 13-yard line.
A lot of teams like to put the tight ends in this situation to kill the clock. I really agree with this theory. At least make them think you're going to throw, spread the defense out. If Neil can top one for 20 or 30 yards, now you got a chance to try and at least get in field goal range.
There's no hurry. Now Harbaugh dumps it to Anderson and threw it too low. It's an incomplete pass. Well, I don't think they're going to try anything terribly risky down here. They have played so well in the first half, they don't want to give Cincinnati a cheap 7.
Jim has experienced people running passes back for touchdowns too much lately. So Tim Crumrye lined up against Mark Bortz, number 62. This is a classic in the pits, in your face, let's lock up face masks battle.
Boy, nice job by Bortz, too. Cincinnati has a timeout left. They could use it if the Bears don't get the first down here with 26 seconds to go. Anderson on the inside handoff. And Anderson will pick up the first down across the 20-yard line. Good conservative play call, and now the Bears will be able to run out the half.
That's a good decision, but you'll see him signaling out to Jim. He say, hey, Jim, did you call a timeout? Well, I didn't want to call a timeout. Why'd you call a timeout? Now he's got to go over and explain. This is the toughest part of being a quarterback. Now you got to go over and explain to him why you did it.
You had some coaches that weren't terribly understanding when you went to the sideline about why you did it.
I don't know too many that are. I mean, it wasn't just mine. I think in general, coaches at this point want to say, okay, look, we've got control of it. The problem is, you never know what's going to happen. One snap of the ball could go against you in a hurry. There's not. He's still trying to figure out what's going on. Made some statements earlier this week about doesn't want to get this football team mature on offense and then wind up handing it off to David Klingler. Specifically has said, I do not want out. I don't want to be gotten rid of. I just want to go someplace where somebody's going to make a commitment and I got a chance to go to a Super Bowl. Now, that could happen in Cincinnati in the next couple of years. Go out and get some players, add a few players.
And there is the #1 draft choice out of Houston, Klingler, with, I think, a brilliant future in this league.
But he is not ready to play now and won't be for a couple of years.
Harbaugh wants to take a shot at it. Davis, second chance, couldn't quite come down with it. Knocked away by Jones.
I'm willing to bet that play was called by Mike Ditka. Yep,
Yes, they said as long as we get the timeout, we might as well try to pick up 30.
Just tries to get up top. Actually, he does. The ball's a little bit underthrown. Tough to throw a ball flat like that and expect a receiver to make a play on it without the DB being there. See, that ball comes in over the top. He's got a chance.
And if that tip goes straight up in the air, David Fulcher has an interception. 14 seconds to go, first half. And they'll keep it on the ground with Mustard. And Mustard tripped up in the backfield. Ricky Dixon flashing in from the free safety spot, and the Bears will let the clock run down in what has been a very impressive Chicago first half. After trailing 7-0, the Bears have scored 21 unanswered to go to the locker room.
Remember, we've got to play 4 quarters of football, not just 2.
The Bears will kick off to start the second half. And Cincinnati has done nothing on offense since the first time they touched the ball. First half stats, look at the rushing yards, 111 to only 21 for the Bengals. That's what the Bengals have done best this year, is run the football with Harold Green. Ball waiting on the bounce at the 1. And he is stuffed as he got to the 17-yard line. Dante Jones, the heir apparent to Singletary, as this team's middle linebacker got down and made the tackle. Cincinnati probably congratulating itself by saying at least Maurice Douglas didn't make the tackle.
That's right. And how tough a job has Dante Jones had? Backed up Brian Bosworth in college, backs up Mike Singletary here, but he's making a point. He's making his statement by hitting somebody. Everybody coming over to congratulate him.
And Glenn Kozlowski, who is the special team star, still out with an injury, the first to congratulate them. Boomer lost the ball and covers it up at the 13. Trying to hand off to Harold Green. He never got it.
Getting ugly. That's that stretch sweep that they try and run. That time, Harold Green just got a little further away from Boomer than he'd like. He's got the ball out. Take it. Just gets it on his hip, but has great presence of mind to stay with it. Don't try and be cute. You're back in your own end. Just fall on it.
The tendency for that back is to start to make the cut because he sees what the defense is doing. Singletary on the blitz. Doesn't get there, but the umpire got it right in the chest.
Boy, Richard Dent, Mike Singletary, all over Boomer Esiason. Everything he's doing is concentrated down the middle of the football field. Take a look at it. There's one deep out here, one deep out. This is where all the action is happening for the Cincinnati Bengals in their passing game. The reason why is Boomer Esiason is not having enough time to throw the ball. It takes protection to throw the ball outside the numbers.
Facing a 3rd and 15 here. Under pressure again. Steps up, guns it too high. Intended for Query, but Boomer, under a lot of pressure, just rifled it over his head.
He's going to catch a lot of heat because he's the quarterback, but I have played on teams when an offensive line has been rebuilt. It's a system where a lot of people don't totally understand what's going on. Boomer is struggling to hold this thing together. If he's not their quarterback, they don't gain yard 1. And it's just a tough experience that he's going to have to carry on his shoulders with this offense.
Working behind 3 free agents, a draft choice, and a Plan B player. Those are the guys that make up the offensive line tonight. It can get tough. Johnson to punt to Waddle. They came after him last time, back off this time. And Waddle has to let it bounce into Chicago territory. Punt of 42.
We've seen where Boomer's thrown the ball. How about Jim Harbaugh? You'll notice he's working. He's really taking a shot at trying to go up top. Still working typical Bear football, work the middle a little bit, but at least he's trying to go down the field more because he has a bit more time to throw the football.
Harbaugh, I think, in the last 2 years has improved as much or more than any quarterback in this league.
Absolutely agree with you, Mike. Absolutely.
Muster and Anderson will open the second half behind it. Play action by Harbaugh. Throwing incomplete to the tight end, Keith Jennings, a step short. And that's one thing the Bears have gotten away from this year is the involvement of the tight end, Jim Thornton, still on injured reserve, but they like the way Jennings has played. He caught 15 patches coming into tonight. And Mike Ditka, being the Hall of Fame tight end, would like to see the tight end involved a little more.
But picture this guy. 6'4", 265 pounds, was a wide receiver at Clemson, is 8th on their all-time receiving list with 78 catches. Looks like a little corner coming up on him.
His older brother Stanford is now with Tampa Bay, used to play with the Bengals. Harbaugh on the draw to Lewis. This guy just makes things happen. This time he may have made a fumble happen. And Cincinnati has it. Stubbs with the recovery. The former Miami Hurricane who was drafted by the Cowboys.
Lewis going right up the middle on the draw. This is like the one he broke early in the first half. Doesn't really have the ball put away. See, it's not really on his body. Gary Reason comes right in, strips it away. Loose ball on the ground, Bengals ball. Can't believe it. Nice play fake by Esiason. But he throws a poor pass.
way behind Carl Pickens, or was it Pickens' fault?
No, this one wasn't Pickens' fault. Great job by Trace Armstrong not going for the fake. They're letting the middle linebacker and the 2 tackles handle the running game in the middle of the field. They're sending Richard Dent and Trace Armstrong up the field to contain Boomer Esiason. They figure as long as he's trying to roll and I'm out here, he's coming out naked anyway, I can force him back inside. That's what happened on that play.
Dent setting up on 2nd and 10. The Bengals have been particularly effective after fumbles this year. Scored 46 points off the fumble recoveries alone. Boomer under pressure, flag down, pass incomplete, and another flag down. And Boomer got decked one more time. The penalty will go against Cincinnati. You may have trouble interpreting this one. There are 2 flags down. We'll see how you do.
Well, I'm only going to give you one.
Holding, number 64, offense, 10 yards, repeat 2nd down.
That's Bruce Kozerski.
This time, though, you see Sargent goes on the outside to protect it. He turns Dent loose to Kozerski, but Dent's already got a head of steam, and he just does a takedown on him. Yeah, a little questionable. I don't know. I've seen holding before. I don't think that falls in the category of it.
Boomer has missed his last 5 passes. Make it his last 6. Ball couldn't hold the little swing pass in the flat. Morrissey was right there.
He had an eye on Morrissey, an eye on the ball. You need both of them to catch it.
Morrissey is one of those guys, a very underrated linebacker who has really come into his own.
Ball swinging out to the right. Morrissey's got him in man-to-man coverage. But look at the pressure that Boomer's under. McMichael just closing on him a step away. You got to have time to step up and throw the football.
3rd and 20. Comes the blitz. They go to the screen. Holman, the tight end screen. And Carrier will take him down at the 42. The Bears defense does its job again.
And the Bengal offense has gotten back into the problems that they had when they were in that 5-game losing streak. 3rd down and long. They have no way of getting yards in a sufficient amount so that Boomer can operate at 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, like we saw in the first drive. It's the only time they've been in 3rd and short. Everything else has been in 3rd and a mile.
Johnson comes on to punt again. And Waddle waits back at the 18-yard line. High and short. Waddle with a fair catch out near the 23. A punt of only 35 yards, but no return. 12:51 to go, 3rd period. Still the Bears by 14.
Here's where Alka-Seltzer Plus fights tough colds with tough congestion, tough aches, tough sore throat.
This is why you need a tough medicine. Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold Medicine. The leading cold pill only relieves congestion, but Alka-Seltzer Plus relieves congestion, sore throat, headache, body aches. That's tough medicine.
You bet it's tough.
Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold Medicine. It's tough medicine. For a cold with a cough, try Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold and Cough Medicine.
What's up, Jay? What up? Where's Calvin? At the J.O.B., man. What? He's still flipping those burgers at Mickey D's?
Thanks, Calvin.
He says he has a plan, man. Meet the newest member of our management team, Calvin.
Congratulations.
All right. I'm with my boy, too. Like that.
Yo, Calvin.
May we help you? Not much, man. Well, I'm out. Hey, yo, Calvin. Now, what's the word on that job thing? Not for me. For a friend of mine. Word.
The call comes down from Canada. Cold, crisp, clean. Friends come together to answer the call, to share the feeling. Molson Golden, Molson Light. Molson, answer the call.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Levi's new loose-fitting jeans. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get, guaranteed, at McDonald's today.
Singletary and Dent on the sideline. They've had a good night. Bears take over at the 22. Neil Anderson. Not much room there as he got to the 25.
One thing I've always been curious about, Mike, and I know a lot of the fans have too, is how do you figure out how a quarterback gets confidence in receivers? This is a passing chart we put together. This is how many times they've been throwing to people. These are how many receptions the quarterback or the receivers have had. That gives a quarterback confidence. And look at the completions for Jim Harbaugh. Of course, the backs are going to be higher because the throws are relatively shorter. But every time you throw the ball, you're above 50%. That gives you a chance to throw with confidence as a quarterback.
2nd and 8, Chicago. Anderson on the delay behind Mustard. Reason drags him down at the 29.
The Bears are going to force the Bengals to bring those secondary people up. Get Fulcher up there. Get Williams up there. Get those guys close enough so that you can go up top and isolate the corners one-on-one.
And Neil Anderson is in on a 3rd and 4 situation. Lewis, the last time he was in there, fumbled the football. So he will sit out this series, at least so far. But outside of the fumble, he's had a brilliant night. Good protection again for Harbaugh. Waddle makes another clutch first down catch. And Harbaugh zinged that one in there.
When are you going to finally... I mean, if I'm scouting the Chicago Bears, sooner or later, I got to look at the statistic that Tom Waddle on 3rd down is where Jim Harbaugh is going to go. Obviously, he's getting some great protection. Troy Azim doing a great job on Alfred Williams. But, I mean, why don't you just cover Waddle, make him throw someplace else? Just for the heck of it once. Make Harbaugh go to somebody else on 3rd down.
Rod Jones totally turned around. Antoine Bennett had to make the tackle. Anderson goes in motion. Play action. Harbaugh wants it all. And Jones, excellent coverage that time downfield on Tom Waddle. One of the few times that he will go deep.
Well, Jones plays the outside corner. Bennett plays there in the nickel. Jones plays it just during regular downs. Jones is a better corner. Been in the league 7 years opposed to Bennett's 2. This is just a takeoff. One thing at this level, the corners run as fast as the wide receivers, let me tell you.
And really, Waddle is not going to outrun Jones. Jones, who nearly made the Olympic sprinting team.
You see Neil Anderson sort of tap Jim Harbaugh on the bottom. That's to let him know that he's past him and he can snap the ball. A lot of times a quarterback will take the snap too quick and you have a collision. Once you feel that tap, you know the running back has passed you.
Harbaugh uses a timeout with 10:37 to go, 3rd quarter. Bears still 21-7.
In your never-ending race against time, here's a way to win. The fast oil change at Expressway. 10-minute, 15-point service, oil filter and chassis lube included, and no appointment needed. Expressway, the professionals on our pit crew make you a winner every time.
Over the past 20 years, New Rochelle Lincoln Mercury has represented automotive excellence. Now that same owner has opened New Rochelle Ford. New Rochelle Ford, with a professional staff that's dedicated to servicing you better. With our fully equipped service department, you get an appointment within 24 hours. Then drive off in one of our loaner cars. New Rochelle Ford, we're #1 on Route 1. Our reputation depends on it.
Connecticut Institute of Art. It all begins with you.
Advertising graphic design, illustration, airbrush, computer graphics. The Connecticut Institute of Art gives you the training and guidance you need to turn your passion and talent for art into a career. 1-800-933-ARTS. Make the call today.
Connecticut Institute of Art. It all begins with you.
Chicago over Cincinnati, 21-7 third quarter at Soldier Field. Of course, this city renowned for its deep dish pizza, but not for the passing game of the Bears. But since Jim Harbaugh became the starter in 90, he is beginning to change that. In 90, well, the pizza was only sauce and cheese. Then they put a little pepperoni on in 91, and now it's one of those gut busters. Everything you want, as Harbaugh came into this game with more passing yards than anybody in the NFC, and I doubt if Bear fans thought they'd live to see that.
I doubted it. I got hungry all of a sudden, though.
Yeah. Harbaugh again looks for Waddle, finds it. Oh, nice move by Waddle to pick up an extra yard out to the 42-yard line.
You know, Mike, when Jim Harbaugh first came into the league, as any young guy with the gift to be able to run, he wasn't patient in the pocket. He'd stand there a little bit longer. He'd hesitate a little bit, wanting to run before passing. His development into a total package as a quarterback has really been over the last 2 years. Sees the defense, knows what he wants to do with the football, makes some great decisions. Of course, Greg Landry, an excellent shooter.
Third, call it 6. Harbaugh will try to get it himself, and does. Dives to midfield. Covered by the rookie linebacker, Ricardo McDonald out of Pittsburgh.
That is so frustrating for a defense to do their job. They finally cover somebody, and all of a sudden Jim goes right up the gut and picks up 7 yards.
2 carries, 26 yards tonight for Harbaugh.
Dave Shula pacing the sidelines. See, the thing, though, is he's looking for the receiver. That's the key. He's looking downfield first. Randall Cunningham has suffered because he's not looking downfield. He's looking for lanes to run first. That's the difference in what happened there and what Randall has been struggling through for the last 5 weeks.
They'll go to Mark Green, who got the touchdown earlier as he gets to midfield. Remember when Harbaugh was drafted out of Michigan, and they made the announcement, we drafted a Michigan quarterback. There were a lot of Bears fans who said, why did we do that? A Michigan quarterback?
I was one.
They're very happy now. And Harbaugh now, they really have to rely on him to win some of these games rather than what they used to have at quarterback. Just don't lose it. 4 wins, 7 touchdowns, only 1 interception, and he's been superb tonight. Good protection. Davis should have had it. Now it's picked off. McDonald, the linebacker, got it on the tip, but it was right in the hands of Wendell Davis, who lost it.
That's one you just shake your head with, walk to the sidelines, hope the defense can hold them. Good job by that Bengal defense. At least they're still flying to the ball. Ricardo McDonald off his chest, up in the air. Rod Jones bounces it out. Ricardo McDonald makes the play. Coming right back to action. Bengals down 21-7.
If you could see inside your suitcase when you travel, you'd see how Samsonite Hardside protects what's inside. Because Samsonite has a crush-resistant outer shell and a durable hardside construction that's designed to hold up over the long haul.
Daddy, did you bring me anything?
Samsonite Hardside. After all, you've got your life in there.
You demand the same things from your car that you demand from your budget. Both have to go more places, last longer, and work harder than ever. So get Walmart savings on the motor oil engineered for today's smaller cars. Castrol GTX. Castrol provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. And Walmart savings provide maximum protection against paying too much. Walmart. Always the low price. Always.
without end is in your face on ESPN. Saturday, it's college games galore.
Sunday, it's NFL game day.
NFL prime time.
On ESPN, great football without end is...
In your face.
In your face.
Chicago has been in Cincinnati's face all night long. 21-7. Bengals have the ball back at their own 40. Trying to get something started on offense. Harold Green, he gets 3, and that's it.
What happens when the Chicago Bear offense is on the field? The defense, Tate and Stenson, sitting there looking at what used to be Polaroids. Now they're up to 8 by 11s. And what they're doing is pointing out, saying, look, when a receiver does this, you go right there. I got to get you. You have to get back. See him going down the field? You got to get back into that area. Great aid on the sideline. And to see the players, not coaches, do it makes it so interesting.
2nd and 7. Esiason on the delay. Green finally running room. And the 3-year men out of South Carolina bolts down to the 40-yard line. Gain of 16. Sean Gale and Mark Carrier, the safeties, combined on the stop. The last 6 times they have had the football, absolutely nothing. The most they've had it is 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Minus 13 yards in 6 drives. Can't be pleasing to Dave Schuler. First and 10 here. They'll keep it with Green on the ground. He'll get nearly 5. And I think this is the rhythm they got out of, Joe. They were going to a lot of passes on first down, even though the Bears weren't showing an 8-man front. They were trying to throw the ball.
Bears don't have to show an 8-man front to put pressure on Boomer Esiason, and that creates the problem in the passing game. When you can rush 4 and drop 7, nobody's paying attention to play action pass. You're coming up 2nd down and 10, 3rd down and 10.
2nd and 5 here. Total yards still dominant. Esiason dumps at the ball. He's got the first down. Nice move. Ball. 10, 5, touchdown Bengals. The first 5 yards on the pass, the last 30, Eric Ball did it on his own.
You know what he did that was impressive, though? Is instead of trying to stop standing up and make a catch, watch what he does on this play. What's the most important thing that you can do if you're a receiver? First and most important thing, you got to catch the football. He gets down on it, makes the catch. The grass is slippery enough. The DB goes sliding by, winds up picking up some blockers, touchdown. We got us a ball game.
Well, Neil Stinson and Mark Carrier both had shots at him and missed. The point after cuts it to 7. And the Bengals set themselves up for that touchdown pass with an outstanding ground game, and then Boomer hits from 35.
In your never-ending race against time, here's a way to win. The fast oil change at Expressway. 10-minute, 15-point service, oil filter and chassis lube included, and no appointment needed. Expressway, the professionals on our pit crew make you a winner every time.
Over the past 20 years, New Rochelle Lincoln Mercury has represented automotive excellence. Now that same owner has opened better. With our fully equipped service department, you get an appointment within 24 hours. Then drive off in one of our loaner cars. New Rochelle Ford, we're #1 on Route 1. Our reputation depends on it.
Connecticut Institute of Art. It all begins with you.
Advertising graphic design, illustration, airbrush, computer graphics. The Connecticut Institute of Art gives you the training and guidance you need to turn your passion and talent for art into a career. 1-800-933-ARTS. Make the call today.
Connecticut Institute of Art. It all begins with you.
Cincinnati has made it a 7-point game. It's 21-14, 6:38 to go in the fourth. The scoring drive for the Bengals 60 yards. They got 25 yards rushing on that drive. In the first half, they only had 21.
Key play in this drive is a run by Green. Takes the handoff. Now he cuts it back up. Put them back in a rhythm so that they weren't faced with those 2nd and longs and 3rd and longs. Gave them a chance to pick up a chunky yard running the football. Running the football is an attitude you have to have. And Eric Ball did everything he could to get in the end zone to bring them within 7.
Lee Johnson will kick it away if he can just keep it on the tee. And Darren Lewis will get another chance. He's back there with Gentry. Lewis 33, Gentry 29.
Chances are this is going to be a good opportunity for the Bears to return this kick because he is kicking into about a 20, 25 mile an hour breeze coming out that end.
Goodbye.
I didn't quite expect him to return it that far. I just figured he'd get a good return.
He got a good return. What an answer to Cincinnati's touchdown drive.
Cincinnati put one drive together in the first half on their first possession. They come out here right now and do it. Danny Abramowitz to the left of Mike Ditka. Well, I'll tell you, Darren Lewis has done everything tonight. Pretty soon we'll see him up in the stands selling popcorn.
Nobody will remember that fumble. That was Mark Braden, special teams coach of the Bengals, who just saw his club stung for 98 and a score.
Coaches preach and preach and preach on kickoff coverage. Hold your lanes. Hold your lanes. You're going to see all the Bengals get bunched up right there. Everybody, 9 guys on the Bengal cover team are bunched up in the middle of the field. Lewis found a crease. Now nobody's going to catch him. Watch him come. He sets up the good blocks. Now he's got everybody bunched. Breaks away from one tackle. Does a nice spin job. Everybody slides out. Boy, that's hard to return to. When you come to a stop and have to re-accelerate, great return.
And there's what Mike Ditka thought of the longest kickoff return in Chicago Bear history. And just when the Bengals thought they might be snatching back some of that momentum, Lewis goes the length of the field to make it a 2-touchdown game again.
Now with the wind at Butler's back, the guess is that the Bengals will not be able to top that ringer and bring it back. I would expect this one to go deep into the end zone on the kickoff.
Eric Ball and the rookie Milt Spiegel are waiting at the goal line. Ball from the 2. Driven out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Darren Lewis may be the best mistake the Chicago Bears ever made. They thought they were drafting another Lewis. Greg Lewis, he had tested positive for cocaine at the combine, so a lot of scouts said he's not worth the shot anymore. He could have been a first or a second-round draft choice. He slipped to 6th. The Bears took him by mistake, and now they have a kid who could have a tremendous future. And he really owned up to the cocaine thing. He says, I made a mistake one time. I got caught. It'll never happen again, and I'll go around telling everybody how bad it is.
The best mistake in Chicago history, right?
Could have been. Back to the ground for Cincinnati. Green, one-hand tackle by the fridge. And that Cincinnati bench, which was so pumped up just 2 minutes ago, now back in the doldrums. Green got 3 on the last play, 2nd and 7. Still a lot of time to go. 5:40, third quarter. Short set for Esiason. McGee at the sideline.
It's not going to be good. There was a player. He was knocked out of bounds, came back into the playing field, touched the ball. It's going to be a penalty against the Cincinnati Bengals. A receiver cannot go out of bounds, come back in, even though he established his position back on the field, and touch the football.
First. If somebody else hits it, it's a free ball.
That's what they're explaining right now.
Here's the call from Gordon McCarter.
The receiver, number 85, went out of bounds, came back in, and was the first to touch the football. He loses his eligibility by going out of bounds, so it's in effect an ineligible downfield. The penalty
This is him. He's going not in the field. He's going over here to visit with the coaches for a second and then come back on. Can't do that. Good, tough job by Jammins. He's out of bounds. Can't do it. They don't allow that. And then to come back in and be the first one to touch the ball is where the penalty happens. If that ball gets tipped and he catches it, it's a legal catch.
And, of course, if a wide receiver takes an outside release over there, he's really doing the defensive back a tremendous service. All he's got to do is push it.
Defensive backs have always referred to the sidelines as another defender.
3rd and 7 for Esiason. Rolling pocket, throws. Yes or no? The officials looking at each other. It's a catch. At the 45.
Not only was
made the grab.
Not only was it a catch, it's a heck of a catch.
And a good throw by Boomer.
Tough throw for Boomer. Left-handed, rolling out to the right. Query does a nice job of getting his knee down and his feet. Good catch.
Query, another player, picked up on waivers. Back to the ground game. Green with blocking. Stood straight up by Sean Gale, who's one of the hardest hitters in the NFL. 10 carries, 43 yards now for Harold Green, who was so productive at the beginning of the season. I mean, Green came off with 321 yards in the first 3 games of this year. Since then, he's gained 198 yards, so they shut him down.
Well, we have to remember, too, that it wasn't until last week they got out of that sugar huddle, or that attack huddle at the line of scrimmage, so their offense has changed a little bit, too.
Here comes the reverse to Query. And the Bears weren't fooled. Line of scrimmage, no gain at all. Wolford was over there waiting on him. The 4-year man out of Clemson, who's an excellent tackler.
You have to get a defense pursuing. You have to get the Bears going this way with everybody. They're back far enough by the defensive backs. They're back far enough so that they can see it. Donnell Wolford, number 21, doesn't really buy everything. Figures he's got enough teammates over there to make a play. Stays home. Great discipline.
3rd and 5. Comes the blitz. Esiason got away and throws incomplete. They didn't get the first, but they saved the sack. And it was David Tate out of the secondary putting the pressure on Boomer. Johnson to punt, and Wolford will go back this time instead of Tom Waddle.
Donnell Wolford for the Bears.
And Wolford will come up to make the fair catch at the 21-yard line. A punt of only 28 as Johnson was trying to boost it down there. Timeout, 3:37 to go, 3rd quarter. Bears take over, 1st and 10, their own 21-yard line. Anderson on the toss sweep. Loose ball. The Bengals have it. Anderson puts it on the ground, and Cincinnati comes up with another turnover. James Francis with the recovery.
The Bears are nearing that fateful ground for them, the fourth quarter, when really bad things have seemed to happen. This is a break that the Bengals need. They've got to get some points out of this.
And Cincinnati has recovered an incredible 13 fumbles this year.
Neil Anderson just going in, puts his head down. Ball just gets knocked loose. Obviously, it's cold out there tonight, but they should be able to hang on. Chicago's last 3 possessions, 2 fumbles, 1 interception.
And Cincinnati has to take advantage here. Green running over people down to the 16-yard line. There are times in a ball game when you just know if this doesn't happen, then that isn't going to happen. And this is one of those, the Bengals don't score. You figure they can just go and get in the bus.
Pretty close because they're only going to get about 3 possessions left after this. But that was a nice choice of plays by Dave Shula. Now Boomer's in 2nd and 4. Now the Bears have to play both run and pass.
And the Bengals have been sensational after turnovers this year. Green, big hole to the 9. Singletary got him there, but it will be another Cincinnati first down.
Joe Melander, 62. Joe Walter, 63, doing a nice job of clearing out that right side. Also, Rodney Holman.
Bengals were trying to go to a hurry-up offense.
Chicago, number 2.
And the Bears have already used their second timeout
on the field.
Bears didn't want to get caught in the wrong defense and let Cincinnati run the hurry-up and get a quick score. Dave Shula, throughout his entire coaching life, is going to be carrying the mantle of Don Shula.
And he's proud of it.
Yes, he is. Yeah. He certainly doesn't duck away from it. I mean, it's something very much to be proud of. But there are always going to be the people that say, well, he got the breaks he did to get into coaching because he's Don Shula's son. And he's always going to have to carry that with him, and yet you can see the pride in his eyes when he talks about his father.
To his credit, he's the first to tell you, yeah, I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't have the last name of Shula. But you're only going to go so far in this business on your own merit. He turned down his own job. He turned down the job with the Eagles at 26. Wisely wasn't ready. But, I mean, he's really right up to par with his father. So they're at the same place in their first years together.
First and goal, Green to the 4. Singletary and Perry. Singletary waiting on him. 13 carries, 60 yards now for Harold Green, who leads this club in rushing and receiving. Really, Green getting a chance to show what he can do for the first time in his pro career. Hampered by leg injuries his first 2 seasons. Boomer changing the play. Green behind ball. Oh, so close to turn back at the goal line.
That is just a great effort by Harold Green. And a great effort by Mike Singletary to come up and meet him. Left side of the line, getting off on the ball. Kevin Sargent, Kozerski. There they go. Now he goes airborne. But Mike grabs him and throws him back. Big hit by Mike Singletary.
Derek Fenner is in on 3rd and goal. He's number 44. Fenner hit in the backfield by Dick. play and took his legs out from under it.
Penetration. Big key down around the goal line. We stressed it before. If the defense can get under the offensive players, they're going to get penetration, and that's going to upset everything you're trying to do in that confined area. All right, Gabe, going for it. I like it. This is football.
Play action, Esiason. Touchdown. Craig Thompson, the tight end, with a face full of Soldier Field. And 7 points. Gutsy call on 4th and goal.
You know, I think it's a great call because if you run the ball, you only have one chance of getting in the end zone. That's if the runner gets in. If you play fake it and you put the ball in the hands of your quarterback, you have a chance to freeze the defense. Your quarterback can carry it in, or he can do what Boomer did, fire a strike down low. Big catch, big throw.
Johnson will try to cut the lead, Breach will try to cut the lead back to 7 points, and does. Cincinnati takes advantage of the turnover.
5th round draft choice, rookie of North Carolina A&T. Good play action fake again. All the Bears coming in. Now he slow blocks, comes across, not wide open. Good defensive coverage. Good defensive coverage over there by Mark Carrier. Winds up with, like you say, a face full of Soldier Field. Boomer, a lot of patience on the fake. Fires it low. Got it.
Boy, and the Bears played good defense on that.
Who is this guy? Camouflage, that's what it is.
Thought Halloween was over.
See, that's the way you get open. You hide behind grass. That way they don't think you're out there and you jump up.
He's got a souvenir to take home.
I guess that one would fit in your face, huh?
So Boomer Esiason helps the Bengals offense take advantage of the turnover. And with 5 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, it's a 1-touchdown game again.
Think with me for a second. How long has the Chicago Bear defense been on the field this quarter? The Bengals get the ball, they score.
Right.
Take a good drive. The Bears return a kickoff for a touchdown. Defense right back on the field. Turnover, defense right back on the field.
Morgan is back on the kickoff return team as Darren Lewis is being tended to on the sideline. Now Gentry has to go back to the 1 to pick it up, and is buried. Did not get back to the 10. That is the end of the 3rd quarter. It's Chicago 28, the Bengals 21.
Until now, some looked abroad for a high-performance luxury.
As we go to the 4th quarter at Soldier Field, welcome back to Chicago, everybody. And one thing we wanted to bring up, the awful thing that happened with Lawrence Taylor today when he blew out the Achilles tendon in what was his farewell tour, the last season of an outstanding ball player. And when he hurt his leg, the first thing I thought about was you.
When I saw the play, I thought of it as well, Mike. I mean, I have the utmost respect for Lawrence Taylor. He's the linebacker of the 80s, could well be one of the top linebackers in the history of football. Ever. The game loses something when Lawrence Taylor leaves the game. Unfortunately for us that are Giant friends, I am now, but fans of the game of football, we get a chance to see one of the great ones, probably never again.
And he was playing so well the last couple of weeks, had gone back to the rush mode and was really disrupting things, had played brilliantly against the Redskins. And you wanted to see Lawrence Taylor go out the way we had remembered him through the prime of his career. Unfortunately, he went out on a stretcher today, and we hope Lawrence is feeling better very quickly.
It's so unfortunate that in this business that the way you want to leave it is quite often the way you don't.
Bears in a hole here, starting at their own 9. Lewis back in from scrimmage on the toss, and Francis was waiting for him. Made the tackle after a gain of maybe 3. Of course, the Bears' 4th quarter has been well documented so far this year. They've only scored 44 points, given up more than twice as many, and have just given up the ball all over the place. The 90 points, the most in the NFL.
And a big key here is that last statistic. What they've gotten is 3 points off those turnovers. What they've given up is 28. That's touchdowns versus field goal.
And it's a very difficult thing to put your finger on why it's happening. 2nd and 8 for Chicago. Harbaugh fumbled the snap. And the Bears almost revisited another nightmare.
You know, if they fumble and turn the ball over here, every guy on the offense walking to the sideline is going to have in the back of their minds, oh gosh, it's the 4th quarter.
Just dropped it.
Jay Hilgenberg not there, of course. Jerry Fontenot is the center now. That time, you'll notice he was trying to cut off and move to the right. When I played quarterback, the biggest trouble I had with Jeff Fossick, my center, was when he tried to step right hard to cut off somebody.
3rd and long from the shotgun. Lewis on the delay. Spun around by Fulcher. Otherwise, he gets the 1st down. Big play by Fulcher.
They're looking for Dave Fulcher to be a leader. Comes up, reads it, sees it coming, doesn't hesitate at all. Doesn't try and be cute, doesn't try to make a good tackle, just gets an arm out and gets Lewis down.
This is the first time Gardocki has had to come in and punt since the opening drive for the Bears. No rush by Cincinnati. Good kick by Gardocki, but fumbled by the rookie Pickens, and he covers it. Return of 2 after a punt of 40. Rivera made the tackle on special teams. Of course, Boomer in 88 and 89 was the 1st and 2nd rated quarterback in the entire league. Touchdowns, 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 very few interceptions. And he started to decline in 1990, and then it really hit in 91. 13 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. This year, coming into the game, 8 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and the 26th rated quarterback in the NFL. Time to throw. Screen. Green, no place to go. Trace Armstrong would not let him loose. Of course, Joe, as you know as well as anybody, quarterbacks get more credit than they deserve when things go right. They get more blame than they deserve when things go wrong. Boomer is the focus in Cincinnati, so when he's surrounded by a young team, he takes the heat.
He has to take the heat. It was his suggestion to get away from the attack huddle at the line of scrimmage. It was his suggestion to move around a little bit. He wants to win as bad as anybody. He's doing what he can to hold this team together. But one other thing, Mike, a quarterback can never do it alone.
Delay to Green. This guy's a fine-looking running back. Takes it out to the 44-yard line, about a yard shy of the 1st down. Of course, David Klingler, drafted #1. He is the heir apparent to Boomer, who was only in his 9th season, hardly an elderly player by any standard. But Klingler is the guy you're paying a lot of money to grow up and learn on the sideline. Third and 10. They have lost 8 yards on that screen. Over the middle, McGee, horsepower, and got out to the 45-yard line. He's going to be a yard shy. Richard Fain spun him upside down.
We saw the great tackle by Fulcher on the last 3rd down. Here's another one by Fain. Boomer fires the ball over the middle.
Ooh. Can't grab the helmet or the face mask. And look at this. 4th and a yard. Either they're faking they're going for it, or they're going for it. Keep it on the ground with Fenner. He's got the 1st down.
You know, he's just not. I really admire Dave Shore. He's just not afraid. He is trying to establish confidence in this young team, and that's the way you do it. Believing in them. Believe in them. an offensive line that's sort of been patched together. Watch the surge. Watch them. They get under. See, they're under the Bears. You get under, you get leverage. You give the back a crease and a place to run. You'll notice Roper had to protect and stay away because she didn't know whether Boomer kept it on a play-action fake. That's how important the faking is.
That is the second fourth down they've gone on. The other was the touchdown where they scored. And this is with over 10 minutes to go. They made a big statement to the team here. Boomer to throw on first down. Under pressure, flags all over the place. There will be a holding call on this play.
Not only that, I believe there's going to be possibly a roughing the passer one on top of it. They could wind up offsetting one another.
And Perry really complaining about it.
We have a double foul, holding, 77 offense, personal foul, roughing the passer, 72 defense. The penalty's offset, replay the down.
So Sargent gets the holding call, William Perry gets the roughing call.
Number 77, Kevin Sargent, on a takedown with Richard Dent. Boomer slips and sets up. William Perry comes in. I agree with William. Come on. Unless it was a chop to the head. If he got his hands up around Boomer's helmet to the head, the flags are automatic. You can just tap them, and you're going to get a flag.
Big break for Cincinnati. 1st and 10 again. Back to the run with Green. Not much there. Perry on his back. McMichael was also there. Here's what Boomer had to say about the presence of the first-round draft choice, David Klingler, and how it might affect Esiason's future in Cincinnati.
The one thing that I don't want to happen is that I don't want to get killed in the middle of a rebuilding process and then all of a sudden hand him a team that now all of a sudden, you know, is a great football team again. So that's something that we have to address at the end of the year.
And address meaning, can they upgrade this club so it will be a contender? 2nd and 8. Good protection. Too high for Green, who is leveled by Singletary.
By making that statement, Boomer Esiason has really sort of put the onus on the Cincinnati Bengal management and said, you have to make the commitment to go out and get players. I don't want to leave, but, you know, you can picture, I doubt very serious if, let's say, Boomer Esiason could be put on the trading block and somebody like Al Davis would pass up a lefty. Yeah, like he did Steve Young earlier this year.
3rd and 8, bad snap. Esiason scrambled to cover it. Now the fight is on for who has possession, and Esiason got it. And the frustration written all over Dave Shula's face. He had gambled at midfield, gotten the first down, 3rd and 8, another big play. They get the bad snap.
That's one of the things that happens in the shotgun. Again, the center's got to make a reach to come and block. Try and block on Alonzo Spellman.
And that was the veteran Kozerski.
I'll tell you, if the Bengals happen to come back and win this game, that's going to be the biggest play.
A lot of hustle on Boomer's part to get there. Lee Johnson will kick to Anthony Morgan. Bears trying to set up the return. Nice kick this time. Morgan all the way back to the 13. Return to the cross the 15-yard line, and the Bears got away with a block in the back, maybe even a clip on that one.
Until now.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Cadillac, changing the way you think about American automobiles. And by Budweiser, the king of beer. With that fresh, pure, natural taste, nothing beats a Bud.
Misidentified the snapper on that last play. My apologies to Bruce Kozerski. It was Mike Arthur who made the bad snap over the head of Boomer Esiason.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that, because he's going to come up here. I'm going to tell him it was you, not me.
Harbaugh having trouble finding anybody, and then he is dumped back at the 12-yard line. Stubbs was coming hard from the outside and got the sack. Stubbs with his 5th sack. And Arthur very lonely on the sideline after you make a mistake like that.
Yeah, but it wasn't a turnover. That's the big thing. It goes down as a 4th down punt. You don't worry about it. You come back out.
And it's been the mistakes that have killed the Bengals through the first half of the season. Lewis and Anderson were the running back combination. Anderson goes to a wing. Harbaugh having trouble finding anyone and sends this one into the Cincinnati bench.
On that fumble recovery before, Boomer Esiason threw his helmet down when he got to the sidelines and sort of grabbed his arm. That's David Hollis. Warming up on the side, or Donald Hollis, excuse me, warming up. Boomer's going to see if he can throw. He wants to see how it feels. Ouch. You can usually tell by the expression on somebody's face whether or not they can come back. My bet is he is going to. There's the ball. Boomer's down on it. Oh,
Dent put the helmet right on the shoulder. 3rd and 14 for the Bears. Guess who? Waddle.
You know, I am convinced that the Cincinnati Bengals just cannot play zone defense well. They either get hung up on the underneath people too long, or else they don't get them jammed enough.
And Waddle comes up limping.
Tom Waddle, the outside receiver. You see what happens. They just clean it out. It's a zone, but somebody underneath is playing it like a man. Ricky Dixon's playing it like a man. He goes out with the underneath man. Ron Lynn leaning on his arm. Far left. There's Ron right there.
And one of the Bengals is down. We'll check on the injury when we come back. There's 7:35 to go in the ball game. It is a field in Chicago. Rod Jones was the injured player for the Bengals, able to leave the field under his own steam. Here is Boomer during the timeout. He had been throwing on the sideline, now talking to Dave Shula, says, my arm does this. Says, can you raise it? And Donald Hollis continues to warm up. But right now it's the Cincinnati defense that's on the spot. Anderson. Stubbs float him up. Fulcher comes up to help on a gang tackle inside the 30, along with Gary Reasons, who's had a good active game.
You know, quietly, that Cincinnati defense has played very sound, except for 3 occasions on 3rd and long when they haven't been able to find Tom Waddle twice. Of course, the one was the couple were big touchdowns, one to Morgan and one on the Lewis run.
Defense has given up a lot of yards this year. They rank 27th in the NFL. Only Atlanta's given up more. James Francis
changed his role a little bit, put him over the tight end to control the running game more.
Clock running, 6.5 minutes left. Harbaugh with good protection, has this one tipped. Gary Reasons on the coverage against Kelly Blackwell, the tight end.
Incomplete. Gary Reasons on the coverage. The Bears have 3rd and 10 from their own 31.
And you can tell that the Bengals defense has done a much better job here in the second half, allowing only 54 yards.
Bears are suffering from the same thing that the Bengals did at that drought when they couldn't move the ball. They can't run the football.
3rd and 11. And the Bears have hit 7 out of 11 on 3rd and long tonight. It's a great percentage. Harbaugh back across the middle, tipped and intercepted. Picked off by Leonard Wheeler, the rookie out of Troy State, on a tipped ball.
If there's one thing that a coach drives home to a quarterback, when you start picking the football up and you're a peewee, you never throw back across the field, because all you're going to do is get yourself into all kinds of trouble.
First interception of Wheeler's career, the 4th Bear turnover.
This ball gets tipped. When it gets tipped, that's when it goes up in the air. I mean, he's got a shot at getting Davis the ball, but it gets tipped by Eric Thomas.
Donald Hollis, the second-year man out of Rice, is on for the injured Boomer Esiason. You try to get to a medical report. Green struggles inside the 30, gain of about 6.
Donald Hollis just crossed the first hurdle okay. You're cold coming off the bench. You got to take a snap from the center in action. Everybody's warmed up and moving fast. You're not. He should be able to settle down a little bit now.
And Boomer is coming back in the ballgame. It's a little strange not to have him out there on the first play and have him come in on the second. Green again, trying to get the first down. He's close at the 25-yard line. John Roper was in on the stop. Harbaugh agonizing on the sideline. And his turnovers have really hurt this ball club. The 7 interceptions, amazing. 3 of them have been returned for touchdowns. 3 have resulted in touchdowns, 1 in a field goal. So when he has made the mistakes, it has really, really hurt.
Guys don't have that happen in a career, having people running back on you that much.
And then last week, Peter Tom Willis comes in, first pass he throws is a touchdown the other way. 3rd and a yard. Center. All depends on the spot. It looked like he got the first down. They mark it at the 24, and that will be.
Somebody on the Bear defense has got to stand up and make a play. Somebody's got to stand up, make a play, knock a ball loose, put a big hit, get the fire back on the defensive side of the ball. Give them a reason to get excited. Somebody's got to stand up.
Certainly 4 down territory with 4:27 to go. Esiason with time, and Holman couldn't hold it. Rodney Holman, the tight end, looked like he had a shot at it at the goal line.
They spread out the Bear defense. Shifted it just before the snap. Boomer has plenty of time.
Catchable ball.
It's a catchable ball, but the thing is it's a tough catch for anybody coming over their right shoulder. Natural right-handers have a difficult time, especially tight ends, with the ball over that shoulder.
3-time Pro Bowler is Holman. Here's Green on the delay. Gets 3, maybe 4, which will bring up 3rd and long.
You know why you run that play? Because you're going to take 2 downs to pick up the rest of it anyway. So to run like an eye draw in that situation is not a bad call.
McMichael was in on the stop, and the grizzled veteran having an outstanding year at age 35. 3rd down. They haven't been very successful at that either on the season or tonight. 3rd and 6. Over the middle, complete. Pickens, the rookie. And he made what may have been a costly rookie mistake. If he goes straight forward, he's got the first down. Instead, he turned outside and may be short.
It'll be interesting to see where they spot it. My guess is he's going to be about the length of the football short if they do measure.
And that's just a lack of experience.
Yeah, you got to catch it and turn upfield. Nice protection again by that offensive line. Pickens right here. Put your head down. Don't that move you didn't want.
It is short, and they'll go again on 4th down. Fenner. He's got it more. Nearly broke it for the touchdown to the 10. And the ball came loose, but it's down. Perry reached in to make the tackle.
You know, Mike, if you're Dave Shula, the first fourth down you call, you have maybe a little anticipation, little butterflies. Now, it's just a part of the play calling sequence for him. Boy, there's somebody cheering that somebody's going to make a play. Mike Singletary coming up. Look at him try and get in there. Look at him hurdle everybody. William Perry trying to strip a ball. Everybody on that Bear defense trying to make a play. Everybody on that Bengal offense trying not to make a mistake.
And that ball came out before he was down.
But what don't we have?
We do not have further review. Seven-point game. The man on the left, a legend in pro football as a player and a coach. The man on the right would like to follow in the footsteps of his father, the legend, in his first year as the coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. He has made some courageous calls tonight. First and 10 Bengals going for the tying score. Play action, and Esiason is dropped by Dent. What a play!
That's the one. I told you, somebody's got to stand up and take charge. Somebody's going to have to stand up and do it.
Dent said not this time on the face.
They have done a great job. Both Dent and Trace Armstrong have not been fooled by the play action. They're very disciplined. Watch Richard Dent on the right of your screen. He's just not going to buy it. Everybody else does except him.
So now it's 2nd and 22. Green on the delay. Flag is down. Green with a straight on powers his way down to the 7-yard line. But it's going to come back.
That time they held Richard Dent.
Holding, number 62, offense, 10 yards, repeat 2nd down.
The right guard, John Melander.
Melander pulls out. There he is. Who's he got a hold of? Richard Dent grabs him by the shoulder.
The Bengals were at the 11-yard line. Now they're at the 33. Esiason goes down at the 23, so he got 10 back. Clock stops, 1:12 to go, and Dent slow to get up. We've got a timeout, a 7-point game, 1:12 left. Bengals trying to tie it up. Trailing by 7 with 1:12 to go in the game. Who's the biggest rooter for the Chicago defense? The Chicago quarterback.
Don't bite him off, Jim. You might need him yet.
Might need him again. Jim Harbaugh, whose interception led to this drive. Hoping the defense can do it on 3rd and 23. Almost intercepted. Sean Gale had it in his hands and couldn't hold it.
The only thing that Boomer Esiason can do now, he cannot drop back in the pocket at a normal pace with a normal drop, because all the Bears are going to do is drop back into the end zone, let the receiver catch the ball, and stop him. He's going to have to try and buy some time, make the defense move, and hopefully get somebody across the field open in the corner. Got to throw it in the end zone. They have to go for 6.
And he is an outstanding quarterback in that mode, in the rollout. That's what made him a star in the NFL. The Bengals can get a first down. They have to get inside the 1. But that's shading it a little close.
I think if he gets there, if he doesn't get to the goal line and does get the first down, that'll be a major pickup on 4th.
So the Bengals have used their 2nd timeout. He'll stop the clock with 1:06.
And he's got to get everybody in the end zone. He's got to get all his receivers. They've got all 4 receivers, maybe keep one back in for protection. But he's got to get them all in the end zone. The onus here is on the offensive line.
Fourth and 23.
Caught it! Pickens, touchdown!
Holy cow! Does that remind you of Joe Montana against the Cincinnati Bengals 4 or 5 years ago when he did it with Jerry Rice? Incredible!
Pickens won a jump ball against Lemuel Stinson. Oh, man.
We talked about the Chicago Bears defense having to stand up and make somebody make a play. You just saw it for Cincinnati.
And now the extra point becomes critical. Breach out of Johnson's hole. We're tied at 28. Holy cow, what a finish on 4th and 23. Carl Pickens makes his 2nd catch of the night.
Had to put it in the end zone. Unbelievable. Don't go away. That man's not thrilled, but this is incredible. Right part of your screen. 3 receivers up to the left. Right part. Boomer looks there, and he just throws it up. Says, Carl, you got to make a play. Great coverage, except Pickens can jump higher than Stinson.
Pickens at 6'2", Stinson at 5'9".
I mean, they're standing there toe-to-toe. He gets a good jump on it, makes a great play on the ball.
Boomer Esiason, will the last prayer work? Yes, it will. And the Bears can only be thinking one thing. It's the 4th quarter again. What are you going to do, Coach? Stinson getting some support from his teammates. He was right there.
Think ahead with me. The Bears are going to have to get about 10 yards closer than they normally would to attempt a field goal because they're kicking into a pretty stiff wind.
The worst 4th quarter defense in the National Football League.
I guess you could call those the Bear facts, huh?
Exactly. Gentry and Lewis waiting at the 3. The Bears spent 2 of their timeouts early in this half. And Lewis can't handle it. They'll get it at the 20 with 59 seconds to go. And Harbaugh would just love to redeem himself as Pickens just did. Remember, it was Pickens' rookie mistake that cost them the 1st down. And now we've got to fight. As fights go, not much. Huge drive for Boomer Esiason and the Bengals, and it came on a prayer on the last play.
Isn't that amazing? 11 plays, 35 yards.
It's not much of an average.
Boomer said when they were in that 5-game losing streak, he said, you know, we gain more yards going backward than we do going forward. They almost did it in that drive.
And Boomer came off the bench in the 2nd.
Which you make a deal with.
Shoulder. See what Harbaugh can do with the remaining 59 seconds. Little to the 40. And I'll tell you one thing, this is where Harbaugh has become a quarterback you can... Waddle, 6 catches, 71 yards.
I'd look for Waddle again.
Stubbs with pressure. Harbaugh shovels it out. That's an incomplete pass. A marked play by Harbaugh.
Well, one thing about that, even though he threw it underhand, as long as the ball was going forward, it's considered a forward pass. They're going to have to get to at least the 25-yard line for Butler to have a shot at it. I think if they get to the 30, it's going to be a 47-yard shot into this wind. I don't know. Only 32% from above 50 yards.
Four-man rush. Harbaugh's going to have to eat it and got back to the 40-yard line, just about the line of scrimmage with only 26 seconds. Now, obviously, the Bears don't have to score here because we've got a tie game, and you don't want to do anything really stupid to give Cincinnati a chance to win it.
You're right. I mean, that is the way you have to approach it. You're going back to nothing. But the problem is, Mike, is that all the momentum has swung towards the Cincinnati Bengals in the second half. But look at it this way, if you're the Chicago Bears, at least you're out of the fourth quarter.
Good point. It's been a nightmare. 3rd and 10. Complete enough first down to the 42. Wendell Davis, who's playing on a bad ankle. Gain of 17, 19 seconds left. And the Bears will spend their last timeout.
He's still going to have to pick up, I'm figuring 17, 18 yards. Use the 25-yard line as the mark that you're trying to get to. See, mentally, you picture that like the goal line. I've got to get there or inside of it.
And now, with 19 seconds left and no timeouts, if you throw the ball inbounds where it's caught, you may not be able to get back to the line of scrimmage and kill the clock.
Danny Abramowitz, the special teams coach of the Chicago Bears, I'll bet you, is just like every other special teams coach. You practice during training camp, and on Saturdays, your substitutions, coach will get going. You run the 2-minute drill. They tell you you have no timeouts left. They have the field goal unit assembled on the sidelines. As soon as the ball is caught, they'll tell the receiver to get down, save time, run everybody out, and try and make the kick.
Incomplete, nearly intercepted. Again, intended for Davis down at the 20-yard line. Rod Jones with excellent coverage. That took 5 seconds. And they did throw the ball in the middle.
Now, I'll tell you, now they got a problem. Now what they're going to do is Jim Harbaugh is not going to have time for the team to come off the sidelines. Ball's thrown high. Actually, he's got a shot at the completion if he gets it down. Now what'll have to happen if it's completed downfield, Harbaugh's going to have to run up and try and ground it to get the field goal unit on.
And I don't think they've even got time for that. Watch the sideline. And he throws it out of bounds with 8 seconds left.
Good thinking. Good thinking. Worst you're going to do is go back to nothing.
The difference in this game right now, Butler's field goal that kicked off the upright earlier in the game from 47 yards out.
And a great individual effort by Boomer Esiason and Carl Pickens.
Singletary stalking the sideline, wondering if he's going to have to crank it up again in overtime. And right now it looks like he would, unless Harbaugh can pull off the same kind of play that the Bengals did.
It's worth a shot here. Throw it into the end zone.
4 wide receivers set. Goes for the short out, complete at the 35-yard line with 3 seconds left. It would be a 52-yard field goal attempt. Butler's longest this year is 50. And in his career, he has hit 9 out of 12 with less than a minute to go or in overtime. He is a clutch kicker. And the Bengals will take a timeout. You hear Butler and every other kicker that comes into this field talk about the swirling wind and how hard it is. Butler said earlier this year he was playing the wind because he knows it better than anybody. Kicked the ball outside the right upright. Never move.
I'll tell you why. I visited with them on the field before. You see the way the flags are blowing right to left? You'll see the goalposts come up. What he's going to have to do, he's going to have to aim it at the right out. He said to me, he said, real close to the goalpost. That means in the end zone, right down in this section, right down in there. That's what's going to happen. He's going to have to aim at that goalpost and let the wind bring it in.
But the wind at that goalpost is blowing the opposite direction of the flags on the top of the field.
Yes, it is.
And Butler is the guy who knows more about it than anybody.
The problem is it is in his face a little bit.
52 yards to win it. The holder is Peter Tom Willis. Will go to overtime.
He hit it dead on. If they were going the other way in this stadium, that field goal is good and this game is over. He hits it solid, there's no question. It's not push, it's a good solid hit. Starts it out to the right a little bit. Going right at the middle, right at our goalpost cam. Winds up short.
And Butler knew it. About 4 yards short on a 52-yard effort. So the Bengals pull off the miracle at the end of the game, able to tie it and then withstand the last Chicago drive and Butler's missed field goal attempt.
What an opener.
Not bad. Woo. They come out for the coin toss for the overtime.
Tails is the call. Heads is the coin. Chicago's choice. You want the football, your choice.
And it's critical to get the football first in overtime. And the Bears get it. Boomer Esiason with the last-second heroics to Carl Pickens in the Bear end zone. Jump ball. Bengals tie it up.
It's gone.
Score by quarters. Cincinnati with the big one. The 7 in the fourth to tie it. They get 21 of their 28 in the second half. The Bears simply must win tonight. Chicago can get back to within 2 games of Minnesota's lead in the NFC Central, even though the Vikings have the tiebreaker over the Bears right now. And in the AFC, the Bengals can actually pull within 2 games of first place Pittsburgh if they can win it here in overtime. Johnson to kick off.
Possession of the ball, not necessarily that important on a night like tonight when we saw what happened with Butler. They're going to have to, the Bears are going to have to move the ball quite a ways to give Kevin Butler a chance to make a field goal to win it. The Bengals knew that. They put the wind at their back.
Exactly. The Bears, if they kick a field goal, will be kicking into the wind again. And Harbaugh waiting for the chance. Davis, who broke a 98-yarder earlier. Out to the 29. Excuse me, Darren Lewis, not Davis. If you have tuned in for SportsCenter, you're in luck. You've got some free football coming your way as we go to overtime. SportsCenter will be coming up next on NFL Primetime. What is your philosophy as opposed to the opening of the ball game on a drive like this?
I think you come out and you're trying to win it. You don't try and play conservative. You throw the ball, you pick your spots to run, you try and convert the third down.
Play action by Harbaugh. Hit as he throws, nearly intercepted, and it was Alfred Williams who came in and leveled Jim Harbaugh.
Mike, in their own subtle way, this Cincinnati Bengal defense has done one darn good job against the Bears. Nothing flashy. You haven't seen a lot of blitzes where people come running. Just a lot of good, consistent pressure. Keith Van Horn having a real problem with Alfred Williams. But look at the great effort. He's knocked down and won't stop.
2nd and 10. Williams already had a sack tonight. AFC Defensive Player of the Week a week ago. On 2nd and 10, Lewis. Nothing there. And Gary Reasons with another big tackle.
Really, Mike, I guess if I'm the Chicago Bear offense, I'm sort of thrilled. You know why? Because it's 3rd and long. And I've been very good at that most of the night. If I'm the Cincinnati defense, I'm figuring, oh, boy, if we can get through this one.
Jim Harbaugh got off to a great start tonight. 4 out of 5 in the first quarter. Had a touchdown. Since then, 7 out of 21. 2 interceptions, only 90 yards. With the 3rd and 9 here.
You got to cover Tom Waddle. Find him. Wherever he is, cover him.
Harbaugh with a pump fake, going to try to run for it. Harbaugh with a 1st down and more.
Oh, did he fake him out? It looked like he was going to slide. You know, he put that, I'm going down. No, I'm not.
A gain of 15 on 3rd and 9. And you're right, that's the Bears' situation tonight.
Yeah, they got to love 3rd and long. Bengals only rush 4. Offensive line does a good job. Secondary does a good. Now, right here, look. Oh, I'm going to slide. No, I'm not. I need the 1st down. I got it. Now I'll get down.
Boy, he just left Ricardo McDonald, the rookie linebacker, number 56, in his tracks. Lewis, the fullback. Anderson, the tailback. Play action. Harbaugh again on the run. Now he pulls up and throws short of Waddle to 40. Haven't seen a lot of muster in quite a while. Brad's back maybe acting up on him again as Lewis has been in there in combination with Anderson.
Well, also, too, Mike, I mean, Darren Lewis has made some incredible plays for you tonight. He's running well. It's like going with the guy that's hot. It's like in basketball. If you got a hot shooter, feed him. They got themselves a hot runner.
2nd and 10. 13:08 to go in overtime. Davis nearly had it intercepted by Eric Thomas.
Mike, we talked earlier about Boomer Esiason throwing the ball to the tight ends and to the backs. Out of 28 pass attempts, 23 of them have gone to wide receivers by Jim Harbaugh. The difference there is he's getting good protection. He can throw it outside. Sometimes you go there too often. Sets and throws. This one's almost 6 the other way. Look at that. Woo! Just does get a finger on it.
And Wendell Davis got it in the face mask after the tip.
3rd and long.
3rd and long. Pressure. Harbaugh trying to run for it. He'll only get a yard, and McDonald did a nice job coming up that time to bring him down, and the Bears will have to kick it away.
It's okay. You don't have to win it on the first drive in overtime. You got 47 guys on the roster. Let the defense go out and do their job now. At least they finally got a little bit of a rest.
Go with a double safety this time. Pickens will be the deep man down at the 10, and Query the up man. Gardocki, a short kick, but it takes a Chicago bounce inside the 20. Hope you join us next Sunday. Start your day at noon Eastern for Game Day. Chris, Tom, and Joe will preview all the action. Then they'll be back at 7 o'clock. Chris and TJ with all the highlights and analysis on prime time. And then at 8 o'clock, Joe and I will be at Mile High Stadium in Denver as the New York Giants take on the Broncos.
The resurgent New York Giants.
Exactly. Can Boomer continue to work his magic? Green steps through a couple of tackles and takes it out near the 25-yard line. A gain nearly 8. Jim Morrissey was in on the stop. 20 carries, 93 yards for Harold Green.
Interesting decision on offense by the Bengals. We saw the Bears come out with 3 wide receivers, at times 2 backs, 2 wide receivers. Bengals come out, 1 wide receiver, 3 tight ends, and 2 backs. They're keeping everything close.
On 2nd and 2, Green has the first down and more across the 30 to the 31-yard line.
I just can't emphasize enough Boomer Esiason's ability to play fake and what it does to the offside pursuit. It means that the guys on the front side, the point of attack is called where the runner is going. The offside is away from where the runner is going. Watch what it does to these. Look at everybody sort of hesitate just for a second. That means that only 3 and 4 guys are trying to make the tackle instead of 8.
You really have to respect that ability. First down, Bengals. Play action. Boomer with a lot of time in the flat to Riggs, and Riggs is flattened by Morrissey. Morrissey is an excellent coverage linebacker.
Complete. Tackled by Morrissey.
Big key to Boomer Esiason on his play action fake. Watch how he gets down on the ball. See how he gets down, he bends down. Now the defensive backs, the linebackers, all lose sight of him. So they have to assume that the back has the ball. Now they have to react and get back into pass coverage.
And he always gives you that little hesitation after the fake so he doesn't give it away.
That's patience. A lot of quarterbacks are in too big a hurry. They don't give the back a chance to sell it. They don't give themselves a chance to sell it.
2nd and 6. Green, big hole up the middle, and Green pounds out to the 44.
You know what I sense? I sense a tired Chicago Bear defense. I mean, they are physically tired. And this young offensive line of the Cincinnati Bengals is just getting under them. Look at every one of the helmets of the Bengals are under the Bears.
They just blew him off the line of scrimmage that time, and Harold Green now has his 3rd 100-yard game of the season. 22 carries, 109. Sports Center coming up right after the ball game. Green again, the workhorse on this drive, got maybe 3. Armstrong slowed him up with an arm tackle.
Early part of the year, or actually after they won a couple ball games, all of a sudden that offensive line started coming under a lot of criticism. Sargent, Krzyzewski, Wycombe, Arthur, Melander, Walters. These guys are just standing up right now, and they're taking over. They are taking over the attitude of this game. Right in the trenches is where they're winning.
And they got a tremendous lift from the miracle in the 4th quarter, too. 2nd and 8. Comes the blitz. They pick it up very well. Pass complete. First down to McGee to the Bear 42.
No, and is he upset? The footing was just bad enough so that he couldn't turn upfield. Tim McGee wants the football. He wants to be the playmaker. He just gets his feet going faster than he has to. Instead of trying to keep him under him, they get away from him right there. Gets out away from him. All Stinson has to do is tap him because he's on the ground.
First down, Bengals at the 42. Trying to win it in overtime. Bears come on the blitz. Esiason unloads to Holman, the big tight end, to the 25-yard line. Ron Cox had to make the tackle, a gain of 17, and now you are within Jim Breach's range.
Yeah, but you're too far out still. You're too far out. Mike Singletary having to respect the little swing. He's got the back in coverage, cleans out the middle. Holman fills the void with the reception.
1st and 10 at the 25. Green. Boy, nice play by John Roper, who just crashed from the outside. Jim Breach has won 8 games in overtime. The last time, week 2 of this year when he beat the Raiders. 7 as a Bengal, 8 in his career. He beat the Chicago Bears 12 years ago in overtime.
They kick it from there, Michael. It's a 43-yard attempt. Still, I think, a little risky. You got to just keep your game plan. You got to keep doing what you're doing. Throw the ball if you have to. Don't get too conservative and sit on it.
Green. Trying to get outside and does. Driven out of bounds, but not until he gets to the 19-yard line. Singletary was there along with Richard Fain. Clock stops with 6:47 to go in overtime. And Breach is coming on now on 3rd and 4.
Why?
You've got a good explanation.
Absolutely.
Right? Bad snap.
Bad snap, mishandle, anything happens, you still have a 4th down try to kick it. That's why you bring him on a 3rd down. David Shula doing an excellent job of coaching.
You saw the numbers on Breach. Perfect from this range. It's over. The Cincinnati Bengals get 21 points in the second half and a Breach field goal in overtime and send the Chicago Bears down to defeat at home.
Mike, you just got to shake your head if you're a Chicago Bear and say, when will this 4th quarter mishap stop?
One of the happiest moments in Dave Shula's coaching career for sure.
I think possibly his first Christmas and this moment have to rank as one of the greatest moments in his life.
And Breach comes through in the clutch again. Never a doubt. And Dave Shula with a chance to watch it on the sideline. No reservations whatsoever. He has won his 4th game as an NFL head coach.
And he's looking for people to jump on top of.
And Jim Harbaugh
trying to make a play, throws the ball in the middle of the field, winds up turning it over on another interception.
Our final score, the Bengals 31, the Bears 28 in overtime. For Joe Theismann and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Good night from Soldier Field in Chicago. SportsCenter is next after this.
Welcome to Happy Hour. I'm Dan Patrick.
In over 20 years. But the 16-3
over against the Vikings. Could they rebound at home against the Cincinnati Bengals at venerable Soldier Field in Chicago? Let's pick it up with the second half kickoff. Darren Lewis, this diamond ring shines for him. And guess what? He just, yeah, you know what's coming. He just could go all the way. 98 yards, the Bears in control, 28-14. Last play of the 3rd quarter. Boomer, no, not me, Boomer Esiason. 2-yard touchdown pass to Craig Thompson. The obligatory Soldier Field sod shot, 28-21 Bears. Minute to go, 4th down. Bengals at the Bear 23. They've been working on this play all year. It's not Chris Collinsworth, he can't jump this high. But Carl Pickett's number 80 certainly can. And we're tied at 28. Look at him make the jump for David Shula's Bengals over Lemuel Stinson. In overtime, after Butler missed an over 50-yarder at the end of the game in regulation, Jim steps into the breach. 12 years ago, we beat the Bears with a field goal. This 35-yarder, and the Bengals beat the Bears 31-28. Second overtime winner that Breach has had this year. Remember, he beat the Raiders earlier. That's way back in September. Of course, Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann called the game for us, and Joe is still at Soldier Field. And Joe, I mean, I think this win speaks volumes of the toughness of the Cincinnati Bengals, especially a team that once upon a time had lost 5 straight. They showed some heart tonight.
Absolutely, Chris. And, you know, the interesting thing about it is the Bengals, if you'll remember before the Cleveland game, they decided to go back into the huddle to try and give that offensive line a chance to really understand what their blocking assignments were. The toughness comes from running the football. That's what the Bengals did the second half. The Bears had a chance to put them away all through the first half, kept them alive, went in at halftime 21-7, turns around the second half. Didn't give the Bears an opportunity to keep the football much, wore down that Bear defense. That young offensive line to the Bengals really stood up and accepted the challenge.
Well, Joe, you mentioned the running. Harold Green, 25 carries, 117 yards. The Bears, though, fourth quarter collapse again. What's going on here?
You know, Chris, you're asking, I'm asking, but I think the biggest guys that are asking right now are the Chicago Bears. What happens when you start to get a trend like that, they're going to get into the next game. They're going to get to the fourth quarter again. I don't care what the score is. They're going to start expecting bad things to happen. And when you're a football team and you expect bad things to happen, they pretty much will. They got to get out of this in a hurry.
All right, Joe, thanks a lot. Some of your closest friends are still there. I see one guy cleaning up some papers back there.
In the back, yeah, in the back.
We'll see you next week. Hope you have as close a game and good a game as you did this evening.
Thanks, pal.
All right, my man. Our next game, Mile High Stadium, which always...